Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi in the 9 News Weather Center. Now, the story today is what you can't see on your screen right now into Denver. It'll probably be the wind. Temperatures right around where they should be for this time of year, and we've got some snow in the mountains to tell you about, but the story again for us in Denver for today at least will be those winds, which could be a bit on the gusty side. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi here in the 9 News Weather Center. Thanks again for joining us. Sorry to see myself multiple times there in that screen. Meantime, it is a bit on the windy side for your day today. Mountains, we will be dealing with some of that snowfall that will continue over the next few hours, though may still see in some spots some of that snow kind of hang around later on through tonight. We'll get into that as well. And then maybe a spot shower and a snowflake for us as we get into tomorrow in Denver. I'll explain those chances here as well. Denver at over 200 days without measurable snowfall so far this winter season. That is a pretty stunning, or I should say over 200 days since we've seen our last measurable snowfall. You got to go back to mid-April for the last time we saw any sort of measurable snow here in Denver. We've got a chance for that as we get into tomorrow night, but it doesn't look all that likely. Now, where we're certainly getting measurable snowfall, it's in the mountains where some spots picked up 6-7 inches of snow overnight. The I-70 mountains on north getting a decent helping of snow, and we're certainly happy about that. Now, I did mention those winds. One initial concern, red flag warning from Colorado Springs on south into Pueblo County. So it'd be southern and central El Paso counties, as well as through most of Pueblo County, where we do have a red flag warning that is in place until 6 o'clock today. Very dry air mass, and that does include in Denver, by the way, where it's going to be very, very dry, but those winds will be on the gusty side as well. Winds already gusting throughout many areas at 30+ miles an hour. It's, as usual, a bit on the stronger side as you head into the eastern plains, where some spots are already looking at wind gusts in excess of 40 miles an hour. Those stronger winds will hang around as we head through the next few hours. So again, wind gusts right now about 23, 24, 25 miles an hour. Those winds will continue to stay on the stronger side through the day today before they back on off later on tonight. Temperatures 50s and 60s in the eastern plains, 30s and 40s. You head on up into the mountains, so fairly typical split. Closer look in here at Denver, 55, 55 Littleton, 54 Centennial, 41 Evergreen, 42 Conifer, 56 Greeley, and 61 in our usual warm spot for our friends in Longmont. Now today, we get on up into the upper 50s, maybe a few low 60s. I mentioned Longmont already at 61, so we've already broken the forecast high there. But again, most of us mid to upper 50s. This is for most of us, maybe 2 to 3 degrees above average for this time of year. Our average high for today, 55, 56 degrees. So again, we're running about 2 to 3 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. So right around seasonable levels, nothing too crazy about these temperatures we get through your day today. Mostly sunny skies for us here into Denver, but as we get into today and I should say into tonight and early tomorrow, we do still have a few snow showers for us into the mountains, and those gradually dissipate as we head through the next 12 hours or so. Though we still do hold on to a few snowflakes for some of us as we get into the mountains later on this evening and overnight. Now tomorrow, it's a dry day in the metro area for the most part. Get into some of those late rain snow chances just a second, but again, anticipate a dry day for your day tomorrow. A few clouds around, especially towards the afternoon. Highs in the mid-50s. That is again smack dab where we should be for this time of year. It's still a little bit on the breezy side. Those winds hang around about 10 to 20 miles an hour for us into the Denver area. Now, as we get into tomorrow, notice two things. One, the snow dissipates in the mountains as we head through the overnight time frame. Then, two, we get this little narrow band of rain and snow that tries to develop. Now, the computer models really disagreeing on this and exactly where that's going to be, but there is a chance, and a slim chance, but a chance that we do get some of that rain snow that kind of nicks us in the northern side of the Denver metro area. Again, I would say about half the computer models are showing that at this point, so it's 50-50 whether we'll see some of that. Better chance to head north from Denver, so Fort Collins, Fort Morgan, Greeley, Sterling, I-76 corridor on north. That's where we have the chance for seeing some snow, and it could lead to maybe an inch or so of snow in some of those areas that do get some of that snowfall tomorrow night, late tomorrow night, and early on Friday morning. Regardless here, folks, it will not be a big deal. The only kind of real thing to watch for in this is some spots could see their first measurable snowfall this season. That just might include Denver International Airport, though at this point, I would say that doesn't appear to be likely. As we get into tomorrow, 30s and 40s into the mountains, 50s and some 60s for us into the eastern plains. Closer look in here at Denver, where we'll be warming on up to 56 Arvada, 55 Aurora, 52 Parker, 53 Fort Collins, 42 Idaho Springs, 53 Fort Morgan, and here in Denver, 55 degrees. And again, that is exactly where we should be for this time of year. Now, closer look in at tomorrow night. Now, this is, again, one computer forecast model showing this is the European forecast model, and it does show some of that snow trying to edge its way into the Denver area. We will see if that happens, but the better chances will be as you head just north of the city for seeing a few flakes and perhaps in a few spots an inch or so of slushy accumulations. The mountains, still a few more inches of snow yet to go. Most of that falls later on today as we head through the day today and maybe later on tonight with another, say, 3 to 6 inches of snow for most of the mountains from I-70 on north. And that's great news. Despite the fact that here in Denver are in a snow drought, and I'm going to get into this point here in just a second, the really important point is I'm going to actually make a little commentary here for a quick second. I do think that the snow drought, despite the fact that it is important for us here in Denver, I think it is a little overrated because where we really do need the snowfall, it's in the mountains, and the mountains have seen a lot of snow so far this winter, and we're seeing it right now. So, of course, here in Denver and throughout much of Colorado and certainly throughout much of the southwestern United States, we rely on the mountain snowfall to get our drinking water, to avoid forest fires, and a lot of those higher impacts from a lack of precipitation or lack of snow tend to be felt when that lack of snowfall is in the mountains. So, long story short, we're getting the snow in the mountains. Yes, we're not getting it here in Denver, at least not yet. That is certainly unusual for us here into Denver. I don't want to understate that, but I do think that there's certainly a lot of focus on the fact that Denver hasn't seen an immeasurable snowfall yet. That is certainly highly unusual, but the important takeaway here, folks, again, is the mountains are getting their snow. So that is good news. So it is not necessarily all doom and gloom, at least with what we've seen so far this season. Skiers are going to be happy about what we've seen up in the mountains so far here as well. So again, yes, we have not seen measurable snowfall in Denver. We're almost for sure going to finish with a top 5, top 10 latest first measurable snowfall on record for us here into Denver. But again, the mountains are getting their snow, and that does matter. So really want to emphasize the fact that, yes, Denver has not seen snow yet, but it may be slightly overrated. I would just say that, that it does matter that the mountains have gotten their snow. Yes, we haven't gotten it in Denver. Not great news, but it's not the end of the world. Tomorrow, as we get into Denver, again, mid-50s for us, and then as we head through that 7-day forecast, looks like this. This is certainly unusual. This is I wouldn't say quite September-like forecast. This would be a first or second week of October-like forecast we head through the next few days. Temperatures back into the low 70s for us as we get into your Monday and your Tuesday. So very, very mild early next week. And then middle of next week, we do have some hints that we could get a bit more action here into the Denver area. We'll see about that. It's still very far out, and 7 days in Colorado weather is an absolute eternity. So stay tuned, as always, here to 9 News, and we'll keep you posted on the very latest when it comes to a potentially more interesting forecast as we get into the middle of next week. And by the way, again, if we do hold out until November the 21st, which would be a week from this Sunday, that would tie, if we don't get any snow until then, over the next 10 days or so, that would tie our latest first measurable snowfall on record. So hopefully it gives you a bit of detail about that Colorado weather forecast. A little bit breezy for us in Denver today. Mountain snow tonight, and it continues through tonight. And then maybe a slight chance for a rain or snow shower, especially north of Denver as we head through the overnight time frame. And then we'll be talking about that possibility for some not only warm temperatures this weekend or early next week, but maybe a little bit of unsettled weather for the middle of next week. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi in the 9 News Weather Center.